Okay, I do believe we are live. It's at the top of the hour. So hello, magnificent beings. Welcome to the Successful Spiritual Entrepreneur weekly trainings that we now have mapped out for the entire year of 2021. I am Eva Gregory. I'm the founder of the Enlightened Business Success Academy, where I help thought leaders, coaches, spiritual entrepreneurs integrate inner guidance with the proven business strategies that are working today to build a list of loyal followers and to convert those who are interested in what you have to offer to investing in what you have to offer. And I'm super excited to be here with you guys. Hello from California. I see Facebook user. You know what? I've got another monitor over here. So I've got you guys on my camera. And then where am I in the group? So good to know that I'm actually streaming live. This is a wonderful thing. Let me just do this really quickly. Oh my goodness. Yep, there we are. There we are. All right. Looks like Diane was hello from California. All right. And we have Ann. Hey, Ann. Welcome. Good to see you too. You're coming in as Facebook user over here on StreamYard. So if I look over here, I can tell who's actually talking. In any case, I digress. I'm excited to be here with you guys today because it's the kickoff of the weekly Facebook Live trainings we will be having in here. It's just an early kickoff for 2021. And I'm also excited to be here with you today because I want to talk to you about strategic time planning for 2021 for your business. This is going to be kind of a nuts and bolts kind of call. A lot of my calls, we're talking about energy alignment and the mindset and all of that stuff. But today, I just really wanted to get you guys thinking about your business for 2021 and actually laying out what you want to create in 2021. Yes, it's a nuts and bolts. Let's just talk about strategic time planning. All right. But you can't just lay out your plan. You need to create your plan. You need to actually work the plan, right? Plan the work and work the plan. Plan the work the plan. All of it should still be in alignment with your spirit and your values. All of it should be, what am I trying to say? Inspiring for you and fun for you, of course. However, we do need some kind of commitment and discipline to actually have things happen, right? Hello, I see lots of you coming on now. Hey, Allison, hello from Seattle, from Oshawa, Ontario. And enjoying lunch. Yeah, this is a great, what they used to call them, we'd go into corporations and speak, they would call brown bag lunches. Everybody would come into the conference room and you'd have your lunch and then we'd have the training. So yeah, I invite all of you to do the same. Hey, Stephanie, you're here too. Awesome. So yes. You set some time aside. Okay, guys, I can't see who you are. I'm not going to be able to keep going over here to look, but I do want to be able to see who it is. All right. Lunch and learn. There you go. Lunch and learn. All right. So I see from Ontario, we've got a couple of you from Ontario, our favorite friends in Canada. We love you, Canada. We love you so much. Oh my gosh. So anyway, just wanted to, the rest of you, let me know where you're calling from, where you're coming in here from. We're not on the phone, are we? Whether you're live or on the replay. By the way, this will be a replay once we're done here. So there will be many more of you probably who are watching this on the replay. And I just want to say welcome to you too. I always come back. I read all through the comments. I respond to the comments. So even if you happen to be here on the replay, know that I will be in here looking for your interaction as well. All right. So here is the thing. Here's the thing, my magnificent beings. You have a magic tool. You have a magic tool that will literally help you create your future. Every single one of us has this. We all have it in our possession. It's available to anyone and everyone who wants it. And with that, we can create our future and our future success. It's something that will keep you focused. It's going to steer you to exactly what you want to create and what you want to achieve. And it's really interesting because I was actually talking to my coach this week, and we were talking about everything I've got going on and what I've created this month and what I've got in the works. And she was laughing. She says, oh my God, you've got a list of like 75 things here. And then when she went down my form and it said, what do you want to talk about today? I was like, I don't know. She says, what? You've got all of this going on and you don't know? Well, of course, as soon as I got on the phone, I knew exactly what we wanted to talk, or on Zoom, I know what I wanted to talk about. But I kiddingly said what I need most is time. And if any of you can relate to this, let me know. Put time in the comments. Let me know that I'm not the only one. And especially me, I can get into such a creative mode, right? So you've heard it all before as well. You've heard it said we all have the same 24 hours a day. However, it is how we choose to spend those hours that will create the reality that we want or not. Now, when I say create the reality, you all know, if any of you who know me know, we create our reality by what we focus on, our intention and emotions and energy that we put into something. So that's the energy side of it, right? But there's also, now that we are aligned energetically, what are you inspired to? Because we want to be in inspired action. Inspired is the critical key element of that phrase. However, it is action. And if you think about it, even the phrase law of attraction has the word action in it. It's just to make sure that the action that you're taking is aligned with your spirit and your values. And when you are in the flow in that way and you are taking action from that stance, oh my gosh, there's nowhere you cannot go. All right. But we do have to look at how are we spending our hours? And the vast majority of people who have access to this magical tool are not using it. But you have access to it. I have access to it. And you have the ability to envision your future right now. You can create your future with clear authority on what you want. And we all have access to this same magical tool. That tool, that magical tool, is your calendar. You didn't expect that, did you? It's your calendar, okay? And we all access a calendar. We have access to a calendar. I have a calendar. You have a calendar. If you don't have a calendar, you definitely have access to a calendar. All God's children have access to a calendar, all right? And depending on your preference and what works best for you, your calendar or calendars may look very different from mine or someone else's. So what works for me in my calendar might be different for you. However, it is how we use the calendar that is going to keep you laser focused on creating the success that you want. Okay, I live by my Google calendars. I live by my calendars. All my planning, all my strategic planning, all my visions, the big goals, the dreams, all of those things I'm working on, they go in, actually a Google Sheet is where I keep mine. I know some people like to have the tangible planner, which is great. Nothing wrong with those. I just like having it everywhere I go. So my Google Calendar, the Google Sheets, all of that kind of stuff, the Google Docs, they're all available at my fingertips. But here is the deal. This is not about giving you some secret system on how you plan. Like if you plan your time in this way, the way exactly I'm going to tell you right now, then you're going to be successful, right? Every single one of you may plan in a completely different way. I am a huge proponent of not offering cookie cutter answers because you are unique. You are not a cookie. Okay. And that's where I actually see people fall down, is when they're trying to follow a plan that isn't aligned with who they are and their dreams and their visions. And so we just want to remind yourselves, or let me remind you, that you are a unique facet of the diamond of humanity, and you're a unique facet of the diamond of spirit. And so each one of us can still enjoy the same level of success, the same level of outcomes, the same results, using this same magical tool, the calendar, even if yours is way different from mine. All right. So what you do with this magical tool is going to determine the outcome that you experience. All right. Your calendar is that magical tool. And you have the ability to run that calendar. You own that calendar. You manage that calendar. and you tell your calendar exactly what you want and what to do. And when you don't have it running you, but you are very consciously, very deliberately running it, managing it, directing it, it's going to serve you and the success of your business beautifully. And if you think about it, just like the money guys, if any of you have followed Dave Ramsey or David Bach, these are the money guys, and they will tell you, you tell your money what to do. You don't let your money dictate your life and what you do. You don't serve your money, you have your money serve you. It is the same with your calendar. You tell your calendar what to do. You have your calendar serve you and your business. All right. And when you combine your passion for what you do and who you support and how you work with people, you want to use your calendar to keep you moving in the direction of what you say you want. And it will help you. It will keep you focused. It will direct you. You're going to direct the calendar, but it's going to keep you focused and directed, is what I'm saying, and moving in the direction that you want. And it will determine not only the quality of your life when you learn how to use this magical tool magically, but your income and how quickly you grow your business if you let it, if you direct it. Your calendar can create unbelievable power in you and in your success, but you have got to be the one to utilize it efficiently and effectively. That's number one. Number two is you have to commit without question to follow through on what you create and you say you want by what you put in your calendar, and you stick to it. Now, of course, there will be some exceptions to the rule always, but I'm talking about what's going to be the rules of the road here, not the exception to the rules, okay? So most people, most spiritual entrepreneurs have really great intentions of creating a plan for growing a successful business, but then the follow through in actually implementing what needs to be done, it is not there. There's no real cohesive plan. And that's why most spiritual entrepreneurs and coaches won't realize their big dreams and goals. And as my own mentor says over and over again, every big goal, every big dream is a series of small action steps taken with integrity and effectiveness over and over again. Okay. So let me just check over here. Hello, everyone. Hi from Sweden. Hello, Sweden, Saskatchewan. Oh my God, we got lots of Canadians on today. Love you. All right. I love all of you, obviously. It's just, I'm just noticing lots of the Canadians are coming on. Anna's got to go back and teach my time maximizing system again. Yeah. Can't function. And yes, can't function without your calendar. I love non-cookie cutter. I love you for loving non-cookie cutter. We are not cookies, people. We are not cookies. And yes, Dave Ramsey rocks. That's for sure. So the reason, the vision that you hold, all the dreams that you have, whether it's paying off your mortgage, or it might be getting your dream home, it might be getting a vacation home or going on to a luxurious vacation. It might be paying for your child's college tuition, just whatever that is. Every single vision, every big dream, all of those dreams can be broken down into doable series of small action steps, small tactical action steps that are done with effectiveness and integrity every day. And in the book, Life Lessons for Mastering the Law of Attraction, I have a whole chapter that says baby steps lead to avalanches. They do. And I'm a huge proponent of the baby steps. Baby steps lead to avalanches of success. But it starts with you committing to your dream and to then making that dream a reality through your commitment to living by what it is that's going to have that dream become your reality. And that can mean by really creating a calendar that supports you and serves you, and then you following that with absolute and complete and total discipline every single day. meaning what's on your calendar gets done. All right. So this is your blueprint. This is really there. It's saying once you lay your calendar out so it can serve you, you've got to actually pay attention to it and follow what's actually on it. That's number one. Number two is you got to be absolutely certain with clarity around what goes on that calendar. So think of that. That's kind of like the yin and the yang there, right? The partnership of these things has to go together. You got to know what goes on the calendar and how to use it effectively with what you put on the calendar. And then you have to stick to it. You have to stick to what you put on the calendar and make what you've already, just think about your dreams and your visions. When you start to break it down and put the steps on your calendar, that's the first step into manifestation. It's actually pen to paper or digitally, if you use a calendar like I do digitally. But then as you follow it, that is what then has the success start to unfold. So if you've got one of those, if you have the ideas on the calendar and you're not following them, it's not going to work. If you are not putting things on the calendar, you're probably not going to have a very clear blueprint. And so that is going to get in the way and you won't see the success that you want. Is this making sense, you guys? Let me know, Kokomo's. Making sense? Yes, no, maybe so? Let me know. Oh, I see some times in there. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. I love your baby steps. Yes, me too. I love my baby steps too. Oh my gosh. So, all right. Just the other thing to know too is, oh, I like that. I check my calendar last thing at night, first thing in the morning. It's after meditation. That's a great way to go. Absolutely. Yes, love and live by my calendar. And you're about to find out just to what extent I do. And I'm going to really recommend it for you guys as well. But every stage in growing your business, there are different things that need to be on your calendar. Okay. So it depends on what stage of your business you're in. If you are a coach or a spiritual entrepreneur and you're in the very early stages of your business, what needs to go on that calendar? Well, you need to have, and you might want to make some little notes here, but you need to block out certain times on your calendar where you're creating your content. That means if you've got blog posts or you've got social media posts, you need the time on your calendar to do that on a regular basis. So it's not hit and miss and you're hoping you find some time to do it. Remember, consistency, by the way, in creating your success in business, consistency is key. It's absolutely key. So you want blocks to create content, blog posts, social media posts, your lead magnet, laying out your email campaigns, blocks for getting on other people's podcasts to be interviewed. That's one of the secrets I'll tell you right now, to get in front of people who have your divine market and they're already gathered there. If you're just now getting started and you want to get visible, fabulous way to do it. Find those podcasts and become guests and be interviewed on those podcasts. That's a really great way to get yourself seen and visible in front of your divine market. At all times. I've been doing this for 20 years and I'm still getting on interviews. But back in the day, it was on radio shows. These days it's podcasts, right? But you want to have time blocked out for that. You want to have time blocked out for going live on Facebook, whether you have a Facebook page or a Facebook group. And by the way, these can be super simple. They can be 5 minutes. You want to have blocks, of course, for working with your clients. So you want to block that kind of time off. A vast majority of what goes in your calendar in the early days when you're just getting started is going to be these kinds of things. It's going to be about building your business. So it'll be working with your clients for sure. Visibility, though. Visibility is number one. You've got to get yourself visibility. And that starts by who's your divine market? What's that compelling lead magnet that you're going to be drawing them to get them on your email list? We've got a whole program on that. We're not going to go into that right now. But right now, we are going to talk about what you need to be considering to be on your calendar. Blocks of working with your clients. Early stages of the business will be attending, like hopefully you've got some business programs or products that you have taken that you're learning, some business trainings that you're doing. That needs to be blocked out on your calendar. All right. So that's attending those trainings or taking those trainings, working with your own coach. Then you want time to implement what you're learning. That needs to be on the calendar. What happens with a lot of people is they will sign up for programs. And then they never actually schedule the time to implement what they're being taught. Huge, huge. This is so important that if you're going to have an hour of training time, you need to block out at least 4 hours to start implementing what you're learning. Okay. So these are things I'm just wanting you to consider right now. Especially those of you in these early stages, you might not even have any idea what to be thinking about for your business. If you know that you want X amount of number of clients, block the time out on your calendar for those so that you know it's blocked out. All right. For some of you, it might be social media. Are you going to be creating relationship, doing posts, commenting and reacting and creating relationship? Just the general reaction, interactions is what I'm trying to say. On social media, time to get behind a microphone if you're recording audios that you want to be doing. Maybe you want your own podcast. I highly recommend that too. Mine's coming out in not in January, first quarter of next year. So be on the lookout for that. Time in front of the camera doing your Facebook Lives so that you're getting visible in front of your followers, sending messages out. So it's really the early stages. Your calendar should be full of trainings, learnings, implementing, and visibility. Visibility. You want to create a high level of visibility. This is wherever you can, all right? So you want to be asking yourself, how am I either getting in front of my followers in my divine market so that I can attract them into my sphere, in my world? How am I nurturing my followers? Because that nurturing is what has them want to work with you and converts them into happy paying clients. So you're doing a lot of what I would consider outbound activity. All right. You're messaging, you're going live, you're getting behind that microphone and being interviewed on podcasts. You are sending out messages, you're nurturing the leads that you already have. The vast majority of that client that calendar is blocked into chunks of getting you visible. Okay. That is one of the most important things when you're getting started, is to get visible. You have to get visible. Otherwise, if your clients don't know you exist, how can they find you? If you've got a passion for what you do, I promise you, there are many, 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 many people who are out there looking for you. But you have to be visible in order for them to be able to find you, right? And that's what gets things started. That's what gets things started. And then ultimately, you want to have times on your calendar every day where, if this is as you grow, okay, but every week for sure, where you're actually speaking to your divine market. So whether there's leads, whether it's your followers, whether it's on social media or it's through your email list, every day you want some kind of a contact. All right. So you're creating relationship. This is what it's all about. It's you being seen. So being visible, and then creating relationships with those in your divine market. And in all of that, you do want it to include a way to be able to invite them to a one-on-one conversation with them to see if or how you can help them. You do want to get to a point where you're having 2 to 3 of those conversations a week. So that would be something you would block out on your calendar. All right. So in the beginning, when you think about what that looks like, you want as much of your day dedicated to getting in front of your divine market. That's your big focus. That means on social media, wherever your divine market hangs out. That means in front of somebody else's audience who also serves the same market that you do. You want to look at how you can be leveraging other people's platforms and their audience. One of the biggest ways is going on other people's podcasts, being interviewed on a Facebook Live for their people, things like that. And one of the easiest ways you can get in front of your divine market is being a podcast guest. All right. And eventually creating your own podcast. If you've got your podcast already, I'd love to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. Eventually, back in the day, God, I feel so old. God, it was all radio shows. Okay. It was radio shows. And then eventually it was online radio. And I had a brick and mortar radio show, people, I did here in San Francisco. And then moved on online and had a couple of radio shows that were actually online. But as I was getting into my business and growing my business, I was booking myself as guests. Eventually, I had my own where I was actually interviewing guests. But for the most part, it was like, who's got my audience, and getting in front of them by being interviewed. Great way to grow your followers, to grow your list, guys. So if it's something you haven't thought about, I really want to plant that seed. But that kind of visibility gave me traction like crazy. So just by being visible and sharing my message, but doing it on a regular, consistent basis. So even if you don't know where you might be interviewed right now, be looking at your calendar. Remember, we're going into vision first. So you get to lay it out any way you want, even if all these things aren't in place yet. So you can, like, one day a week, you're going to be on a podcast. So block that off, right? My schedule is already getting booked for 2021 on podcasts, so that I'm on podcasts or being interviewed every single month. I am going to be launching my own podcast, like I said, in first quarter of next year. And even though I have been in business for 20 years now, being a guest, being interviewed on other people's podcasts and in their social media groups and on telesummits, this is something I'll probably do forever. So it's not only just for those of you who are getting started, but it is to have that be something that is a consistent, regular thing that you do for your business and in your business. This is one of the best platform building strategies out there. And what I teach is only what's working today. I'm always teaching the latest and greatest. And right now, this is it. Getting out there on podcasts or having your own podcasts. But to get started, get in front of people who already have an audience and a following. So you're not having just to create yours yet. Get interviewed. All right. This is how you get in front of a large group of your divine market in one place that's already been cultivated by the host. And those people that host has cultivated, whether it's in a Facebook group or it's on a podcast, these people know, like, and trust this host. And so when you're on a as a guest, and that host is introducing you and recommending you, it goes a long way. All right. So this is just bringing their audience into your sphere and into your communities, right? And when you use this magic tool that you have right in front of you or right near you, then this is how you create that roadmap to the future that you want to create. All right. So what you do with that magic tool, however, will determine your success or not. So it's up to you. You get to decide what goes on your calendar and then follow it. And that's why it's important that what you do and what you choose, the activities that you choose, are in alignment with you and your spirit. And what works for you may not for somebody else. And that's why there's no cookie cutter. Okay. The schedule that you have, like for me, I'm only working Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. I'm online. I am taking calls. I am leading my programs. Those are Tuesday, Wednesdays, Thursdays, not Mondays and Fridays. For somebody else, they prefer working different days, or the hours that I'm available at different things is different. So you have to find what works for your rhythm. All right. Hope that's making sense. So that's for the early stage for coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs. That focus just needs to be content, visibility, and then conversations to convert. So content creation, whether it's lead magnet or blog post or social media post, but content, visibility, and then bringing them into conversations to convert. So your main focus is visibility. And if all you're doing right now is you're visible, but it's only to the same 3 or 4 or 5 people, then you need to put a few other things in place right now. You want to make sure that a large amount of your time is focused on your list building and growing that list of loyal followers who become raving fans that convert into happy paying clients. So how do you do that? You do that by being active on social media, sharing your message, sharing your passion. It means going live, even if they're short, 5-minute Facebook lives, and you're getting in front of different people. Finding people you can do cross promotions with. If you have those that have a similar audience, that's another thing that's been a huge business staple for me, is cross promoting with other joint venture partners, right? So cross promote with the others who have your same divine market. There are probably folks right in this group that you could be doing cross promotions with. And that means that what you want to do is you get visible in this group and start sharing value. And I'm not saying start selling your stuff. You get to do that on Mondays. You do every Monday. You come in and you post your little heart's content. On Mondays, you can share whatever you want in your own post. It's not even required to be under a same thread. Okay. Just put a little plug in for that, because that's something that's relatively new. But getting active in here and getting to see people and know people, because I know there are a lot of you that have some synergistic things that you're doing and your divine markets that you could be taking advantage of that. What else do I say about that? Well, that was pretty much it, but you see me doing that all the time. You know, I'm doing joint live streams. I'm interviewing people. People are interviewing me. I'm doing things on my page. I'm obviously doing them in this group. I'm doing them in other people's Facebook groups where I've been invited to talk to their groups. So your focus is visibility and list building, right? And if your divine market doesn't know you exist, then you cannot help them. You cannot help them. But it's not just visible to the same 3, 4, or 5 people, clearly. So that's why there's got to be the outreach. That's the visibility piece. That's the visibility piece. You need to get in front of your audience. You need to share your message and to nurture those folks and create relationship with them. And then for those who want to know more and are ready, then you can invite them to have a conversation with you and to work with you, right? So let me see what's going on in the conversations over here. Oh, yay. I'm excited. Who is this? Podcasts are part of my 2021 marketing plan. That's awesome. Planning on doing a weekly live show starting in late January. Great. This is awesome. Franklin Planners. I remember those. Oh my God. Fabulous, fabulous. A lot of what I teach. Fabulous. This is good. Excellent, guys. Yeah, Ann, I see that was you. Awesome. All right. So let me just double check over here. We got this. So you guys can still see me, feel me. All right. Yep, we're good. Okay. So now, once things are moving along and you're getting up and running and you created a little traction, you're starting to get some money coming in the door. Now you have to think about it from the standpoint that you're going to take everything that you've done up to this point and you're going to elevate that to the next level. All right. So now you have a portion of your time, you've got your systems in place that's creating that visibility. And as you lay it out on your calendar, it's going to be like wash, rinse, repeat. You just keep doing some of those things on a repetitive basis. And that's why it's the action steps taken consistently again and again. Wash, rinse, repeat, hone, and tweak. Have to add that in. Wash, rinse, repeat, hone, and tweak, because there'll always be a little bit of that going on as well. All right. So maybe now you've got things going in your business. Maybe now you have a VA that is supporting you. So a small period of time might be working with them, delegating to them, giving them feedback and direction, giving them delegate for sure. Take what you've been doing and creating and have them then take it and multiply it and duplicate it for you. Okay. So for example, you might have in the morning, you're giving them instructions. And a lot of times you're not having to meet with everybody or a VA every single day. You kind of have a general communication, but just as an example, you would give them feedback or direction in the morning and you give them their focus, and then they go and do a lot of the tactical things that now you don't have to do, like doing the posts for social media, like finding the podcast for you to be on, taking the blog posts, and I'll tell you what you're going to do with those in just a minute, but really duplicating them and leveraging them in different ways. Okay. And then in the afternoons, you can follow up with them. So now what happens between that time? What are you doing in between? What you're doing in between with your time is you're busy going live, getting interviewed, more interviews. You're cultivating new leads by offering a compelling lead magnet that hopefully you've got in place by now to those who have listened to the podcast or the interview or the Facebook or summit interview, if that happens to be what you're doing. You're growing your list of loyal followers on a regular, consistent basis. You're nurturing your followers who become raving fans and then converting them to clients. So it's still the same thing as before. The difference now is that you have things kind of up and running. You've got a system in place. You've got a VA or somebody who's helping you do a lot of the grunt work. So your time is freed up to reach even more of your divine market. Okay, that's the name of the game, right? And now all that great work of yours, all that content creation can be leveraged. My first coach taught me to always think about everything you create. Ask yourself, how can I leverage this at least 3 ways? Brilliant advice. Brilliant. How can I leverage this at least 3 different ways? So you should start to see that the things that you're doing, you can repurpose. You can repost. They can get multiplied and duplicated. What you created as a blog post now becomes a social media post. Maybe it's one you push out to LinkedIn and Facebook and on Instagram. I mean, there's just so many different ways that you can take advantage of something that you created once and then repurpose and use it again and again. It could be that you take a blog post and you create a Facebook Live around that blog post. There's your topics for your Facebook Live. If you do a weekly content on your e-zine, take the content in your e-zine. Do a post on social media. Make it a Facebook Live post. Leverage, and repurpose. So you're multiplying and duplicating. Is this making sense? Makes it so much easier. And it feels like, oh my gosh, how can I just keep creating all this content? You repurpose it, you leverage it, you shift it up, you slice it, you dice it, you're a Ginsu knife it, all right? So actually the work, it doesn't change a whole lot, but it's just enough. The format changes or some of the ways that you're doing it, or something that was a long blog post, you're creating several shorter ones or several shorter Facebook Lives as an example, all right? The problem is that the vast majority of coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs are not spending their time on the things that really matter. And so they spin their wheels. So an example of that would be you don't have many clients, if any, and you're busy building out or creating a program. Visibility is where you need to be. Okay, creating that initial lead magnet and then getting out there and being visible, not doing a lot of things that are not creating income for you. Okay, so here's what I recommend you all do, and this will help you assess what stage your business is in right now and what's going to take it to the next stage. You want to get a piece of paper or a Word document or whatever you want to use. You could do this right now if you like, but you take a piece of paper, you draw a line down the middle of the paper. At the top left column, you put generating income generating activities. On the right side, you put other, okay? And then what you want to do is you want to start to list on that page all of the income generating activities, all the things that actually generate income for your business. That would be things like you're posting online, you're creating relationship out on social media. It could be sending an email to your list, inviting them to have a private one-on-one with you, inviting folks on those one-on-one calls. Maybe it's to determine if or how you can help them, right? That would be, then you have to schedule out the time, another income generating activities, actually taking the time to do those calls. So there's building the interest for the calls, there's inviting people to the calls, there's holding the calls. All of these are part of your income generating activities. What else are you going to do that's generating income? Just connecting with people. If you're connecting in Facebook groups or on social media, as an example, if you are going live on other people's podcasts, that's part of your income generating activities, okay? Doing Facebook Lives, that's income generating activity, right? Doing cross promotions with other people who have the similar audience as you, that is income generating activities. All right. You guys getting the gist of this? It's not creating programs. It's not organizing your office, but it's doing income generating activities. So things that are creating that are moving you towards that, right? So you make a list of all those income generating activities. Connecting with your current clients, by the way, income generating. Asking for referrals is income generating. Connecting with past clients about working with you again, maybe at a different level or in a different capacity, income generating activities. Okay. Upsells to new programs that you have, that's income generating activities. Okay. All of those go on the left side of your sheet. Okay. Everything else that you have to do in your business goes on the other column. And so what you want to look at when it comes to your calendar is you start by focusing on income generating activities, and you want to populate your calendar with the blocks of time that you decide you're going to work on those things. All right. The biggest thing I want to remind you of when you talk about strategic planning, and we're going to talk about that in just a second, but the vast majority of coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs are not spending any time on this stuff. They're not spending time on what they really need to be spending time on. And even those who have all the intentions to do the right thing are not doing it. They get caught up in the busy work. It's very easy to get caught up in the busy work. That's where, if you use your calendar as the magical tool it is, it will keep you on the straight and narrow. It will have you moving forward in your business. And it's very clear. You don't have to get up the next day and say, what do I need to do today? You're going to know. It's very clear. If you were to look at your calendar for last week and ask, how many hours did I spend one-on-one talking to prospects? How many hours did I spend being interviewed on podcasts that have my divine market? You also, by the way, make sure that you're only being interviewed on podcasts that actually have your market. I've had a couple of clients who said yes to whoever invited them to be on, and a lot of them, it wasn't even their market. So you want to be clear that this is your divine market. How many hours did I spend actually visible to my market on social media? How many hours was I generating followers and nurturing those followers? So you look at that stuff and then you add that up, and it's probably very, very little of your week, if any, right? And let's see that's so funny. All right. Hang on a minute. It sounds like you attended my maximizing training I conducted this past week. Guys, I don't know who's speaking. It just keeps saying Facebook user. Let me see if I can figure you out over here. Shoot, it's not showing me. Well, okay. Oh yeah, Anne, it was you. Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay. Good stuff. So anyway, when you are looking at your calendar and you realize that it hasn't really been income generating activities that you're looking at, you just want to be looking at how can I grow faster? See, how can I grow faster without working harder? How can I grow faster without more hours? Well, what you do that by making sure that what you're doing in the hours you already have are income generating right now. All right. So you got to take control of your calendar and have that start to work for you. That means that you have to prioritize the things that are going to spring you forward. I hear from a lot of people when they start getting busier and busier and that they need help. This is irony. Especially some of you who are new, that's the ones that I have worked with and they're new and it's like, oh my God, I want a VA, but oh, it's going to be an expense, but you're being the bottleneck in your business. And it's like, you can only go so far until you get some help. Or they go, yes, I have to get a VA, but I don't have time to train them. And it's just easier if I do it myself. That is so not true. You are being a bottleneck. You are nailing your foot to the ground. All right. And I hear people do this. That's not the mindset you want to be holding, right? They don't have time to find one. They don't have time to train one. There's no such thing as not having time to do what's going to support your business success. Make sense? Make sense? That's a gremlin. That's a gremlin. There's only you not prioritizing where you're spending your time. So something has to change. If your business is not growing or moving in the way that you want it to, you need to look at this. Something does have to change. You need to know what's the most profitable thing that you can be doing in these moments. And so one of the questions I love to ask is, what's the most important thing I can be focused on right now to support my business success? And even as you're laying and blocking out elements on your calendar, if you take that piece of paper and you're looking at your income generating activities, that's the question you want to be asking, and then you'll be able to populate your calendar. But you need to get clear on what needs to be in place, what things you need to have on your calendar. So it's all laid out, it's all clearly in front of you. So there's no question about what you need to be doing. But it's important for you to know and to have a good sense of self and a good sense of self-awareness as to where your hours are going. And a great exercise for you to do, for every one of us to do, is you can get out your paper where you've created your income generating activities. On that left side, you've got other on the right side. That's everything else. It's not income generating. And if you flip back to, let's say, last week's calendar and you quantify how many hours did you spend last week on that actual income generating activities, actual activities that are they're going to result in cash in your bank account, right? Actual activities that are bringing in the dollars and the cents. That does not include the tech setup of your landing page, right? That does not include tweaking your website. That does not include the tactical behind the scenes organization that nobody sees but you. I'm talking about how many hours did you spend on actual activities that are going to be income generating activities that are going to move you forward, right? And when you do that exercise, I think it would be very eye-opening for you, because I know many coaches and spiritual entrepreneurs working 40, 50 hours a week in their business, but they're only spending maybe 5 of those on things that would actually move their business forward in a strategic way. And so it's important that you understand that. And I want to talk to you a little bit about how I do strategic planning. And that doesn't mean that how I do this is the right way for you to do this, but I think it will help you get some ideas of what you need to do for yourself. Okay. So I have annual planning, and then there's quarterly planning. And then quarterly planning lays out everything for the quarter, for the months, the weeks, and the days. Okay. So when I look at a full year, there are certain things that are absolutely critical to move the overall business forward that I'm going to commit to throughout the entire year, because I know it's never going to become less important over time. These are the things that are always going to be important that you're doing in your business. Lead generation is the lifeblood of your business. That is the lifeblood of your business. That needs to be something you're doing on a consistent basis, week in and week out. And so I'm looking at those things and what I'm committing to throughout the year. And then I choose, so how am I going to direct my time? How am I going to have my magical tool, my calendar, keep me honest about what I'm doing with my time? All right. And the more you start living off your calendar, once you've set it up the right way, obviously that's the first step. Once you've started living off your calendar in this way and directing your time, the faster you're going to achieve your goals, the faster you are going to grow your business. All right. But you've got to decide in advance what's going to happen. Same with me. Figured out in advance what needs to be on the calendar, like day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out. What are those things? It's always there. It's consistent. I know to do it. I count on it. It keeps my business running. I have everything moving. It's not, rather than feast and famine, it's more smooth than that, right? And so the more you start living from that space, then the easier it is to grow your business and to have a business that has regular, consistent income on regular, consistent basis, right? So if I look back on my business, I look at what did I decide I wanted to have happen? And then I committed to follow through on what I had decided was going to happen. And when I did that, it happened. Now, things happen too, like COVID, all right? Like all of a sudden, I'm not doing traveling. I'm not going to conferences and those kinds of things. So that time still gets used. We just get creative. We're using it in different ways, all right? But I commit to the follow through on what I've already decided was going to happen for the year. I've already done it for 2021. And then it happened. It's just that simple. It's your yellow brick road to success, your little magical tool. Some people say they don't know what to put on the calendar. So I've given you some examples here. I hope that you're taking that, thinking about it, and how that you would apply that for where you are in your business. So I want to give you some examples of what I do annually, and what I have now on it. So to give you an idea of how I plan mine out. So I laid out all of my content creation days in advance on my calendar, full year, all year long. And I blocked time out for that. Okay. So it might be like a certain day. You can do it in different ways. Again, it depends on you. You can have one day a week that you're doing that. You might have just one day a month that you're doing everything for the month of content creation, or a quarter. It could be once a week, just up to you. But that is blocked out for the year. I blocked my time out for guest interviews and podcasts. My weekly Facebook Live trainings that are here for this group, blocked out on my calendar for the entire year for 2021. So you're going to see me in here pretty much every week with a few exceptions. Okay, so we got lots of goodies coming your way. By the way, while I'm thinking about it, I noticed some of you have answered the poll here in the group where I'm asking what are the trainings you most like to see. I've got topics laid out for the entire year. Now, what I'd love to hear is from you of the topics in my poll, which ones would you prefer? And if there's something not on that poll, add it, okay? Because that's going to help me prioritize which ones I give you. And I would way much rather give you what you're asking for right now than to just lay out in a vacuum what I know you will support you, but it's always good to know what you most want right now. So a little plug for my poll. It's under the announcements tab in this group. So I'd appreciate it for those of you who are interested anyway, to let me know, what do you want trainings on? Here am I. Let me serve you. Okay. My live 5-day workshops that I do, I've laid out, there's going to be almost every other month, 6, maybe, I can't remember now, either 6 or 8. They're on my calendar. They are blocked out. The first one is in January. So if you want to be involved in this big 5-day live workshop, it's free. It'll be right here in this group. I've done them before in this group. I've also had pop-up groups. Sometimes I'll have a pop-up group that I do the lives in. But the one in January is going to be right here in this group. So mark your calendar. It starts on January 18th, all about high-end clients, positioning yourself for them. I have blocked out promotion content creating days, dedicated to new recordings that I'm doing, new trainings that I'm even doing for the Enlightened Business Success Academy. I stay on top of everything. What's working today, folks? And then the new trainings come in. Stuff not working anymore, it goes out or it gets tweaked, right? I am blocked out times for creating updates for existing programs and new programs that are coming up. And then I have my new client questionnaires that I review those as new members are signing up for the Enlightened Business Success Academy as an example. So there's time for that. There's also just the one-on-one for those who are interested in doing VIP days or private one-on-one with me. So I have time to do those, are blocked out. What else? Joint venture promos are blocked out. Usually my joint venture partners, our calendars are already planned through 2021. So that's pretty much locked in on my calendar as well. Once in a while, someone will come through that hasn't put it on the calendar yet. But for the most part, we all have our promotional calendars locked in. What else? I think those are just a few of the examples. of things that strategically, once you set something in place and it's a set blocked time on your calendar, then it's locked in, and it just keeps you from going astray and getting scattered and forgetting why you're here, and losing your sense of priority. But you decide what your strategic plans are that's important for you to be moving forward in your business. You might be at a stage in your business where you have a half a day every week, where that half a day is focused just on being on other people's podcasts or interviews, right? Or you're going live in their groups. So just think about, what are the kinds of the critical pillars of success that is going to move your business forward, that you really want to make sure that you're directing the time for. You decide where your time is going, okay? And you want to do that so that you're not frantically scrambling around wondering what you should be doing next and losing your train of thought. Because as we know, as things progress, I could say that I've already planned out all my Facebook Live content for you right now. I have the blocks in my calendar there. I have the topics, but I haven't laid out the details of those. That's why I'm really encouraging you to share in the poll what you're interested in. So the time is blocked. What I actually bring each week might not be locked in. That might go depending on the interest that you have, depending on what happens. Things will change. Like this past year, where I did pop in and do some things around how do we deal with COVID now, right? So, so there's flexibility in all this, but the times are blocked out. It's making sense. So that will not slip through the cracks. And I do this because things do change constantly. And because we evolve constantly, and we're always trying new things. We have new strategies. As new things are working, we're testing things out. We found out it works really well. Now it becomes a training in my program. Some of it will be training here on the Facebook Lives. I just need to make sure it doesn't matter whether I think there's something to do or not. I know what my calendar's blocked out for. Now, will some of that have to move around? Of course, but that will be the exception to the rules. I can depend on my calendar to keep me on the straight and narrow. And I want to make sure I have dedicated time on the calendar. There are a number of other things on my calendar, but this is just as an example for you to give you an idea, okay? Also, and this is really important, you want to book all of your downtime on your calendar. So, for example, I only take calls and do these Facebook Lives and interviews 95% of the time, with, like I said, a few exceptions, but rarely. They're only on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, the first 3 weeks of every month. Okay, that's when I do my calls. I have my live calls in the Enlightened Business Success Academy. They're all happened on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. All happens the first 3 weeks of the month. That is it. My downtime is blocked out. The last week of the month is blocked out. If there happens to be 5 weeks in the month, the 5th week is blocked out. Okay. Vacation times are blocked out. Holidays are blocked out. If I want travel time, it gets blocked out. If I just want a day to myself just for sanity, once a week or once a quarter or whatever you want to do, you block it out on your calendar. Is this making sense? Actually, I should have led with this. When you go to lay out your calendar, before you lay out any of your business stuff, you lay out all of your downtime. Holidays, conferences, travel, family time, vacation, sanity time, peace of mind time, whatever it is for you, block it out on your calendar. Get very clear. What are the days? What are the times during the days that you want to be on calls and working with clients? What are the times that you prefer to be on social media, doing your Facebook Lives? You get to block that. You get to do all that, but make sure your downtime is put in your calendar first. I hope this is making sense. Okay. So all of that was the first thing I did, is I blocked all of that out on my calendar before I started adding any of my business activities. There has to be a balance. This is not all about 24/7 working on your business, because you will not be successful if you do that. Your downtime is part of the success of your business. That's how you want to look at it. You're not wasting time. I know you workaholics out there. You're not wasting time when you're down. You're actually regenerating, rejuvenating, re-energizing, and you are in a different place, in a space that your creativity and your inspiration and your energy is there for your business when you come back to it. Okay. So downtime first. All right. Okay, I love it. I have been teaching putting downtime first for decades. I have dedicated me time and days off already on my calendar. Yes. Oh my gosh. I don't know who you are, Facebook user. I love you too. I'm new and I love you so much already. Yay. We have more to go, more to go. I mean, not today we do, but lots of juicy stuff coming down the pike. And by the way, guys, this is where I'm seeing your comments coming in on StreamYard. That's why I look over there. Many of you are already used to that, but some of you new people, what is she doing? I have 3 monitors, just so you all know. This one has, just in case an emergency comes up, like on Skype or whatever. This is you. This is your comments. And then over here, I do have the Facebook group up, but gosh, I have to. Oh, Diane, you're the one who said that. I just say it. Hey, Phyllis. Oh, see, it's so nice to see your names. Anyway, so that's why I've got things I'm looking all over the place. All right. So I digress. All right. So downtime first, then lay out all the income generating activities next. You're going to plan that time out in advance, even if you don't know what they're going to be right now. Okay. I'm done. My calendar is set. My calendar it's almost like my calendar's sitting there. Okay, here we are to serve you. Even all you have to do is look at us and we'll tell you what you need to do for your success. Feels so good. And then I'm directing my time to those things, right? I've already decided those things in advance, and I've decided the things that are strategically important and then laying out the tactical steps on the calendar. All right. So it might not be the same for you. What I do may not be the same for you, but those are the things that I know that I can plan and I can commit to on a regular annual basis. So when you think about these things, you want to be thinking to yourself, what are the pillars of my business? What's necessary for me to be built into my planning process for my calendar? In other words, for you to be looking at for your calendar that you can do in advance. Everything that you can put out there in advance. Make it up if you're not sure. Seriously. I'm going to have I'm going to be doing a podcast once a month. Great. You've got to put, what are those topics? Content creation day for those. Or maybe it's researching. You're going to do an hour or 2 once a week researching the right podcast to be on. Okay. But just lay it out. If things need to change, that's great. But now you have, most of it will be there for you. So vacations, travel time, family time, downtime, holidays, all booked on the calendar in advance. And those dates are on my calendar. They are blocked, right? So you want to be building in those downtimes and then building next your income generating activities. Not tweaking your website. That stuff does not go before all of this is locked into your calendar. All right. I have 1 day a week that is a full-on strategy day. And so I'm proactively working. Like I said earlier, when I was talking to my coach earlier, it's like 75 things going on. Well, I'm not getting all 75 done right away, but that's what comes out of my strategic day, where no calls, not online. That's my day, just to be proactively working on growing the business. So you build in the vacations, and then you build in the income generating activities, and then you use the months to really have an opportunity to look at it. And you can zoom back in over a single week, right? And look at how is that supporting your strategy? How are these tactics supporting the strategy or the strategic plan that you've laid out? So you're looking at the strategy. Like I said, my strategic planning, my big dreams, goals, visions, that all goes on. For me, it's a Google Doc or a Google Sheet. For some people, it's like a Franklin planner, right? And then from that come the tactical to-dos that goes on my calendar. All right. Everything, by the way, for me is done on the calendar. I don't have a to-do list. If it's not on my calendar, doesn't count. All right. That is my to-do list. everything is done on my Google Calendar or calendars. I have more than one. So I have all of the stuff I'm talking to you about, and for the businesses on one. I have a general promotional calendar that's a Google Calendar, because I can overlay those Google Calendars so I can see everything, and then I can remove like the promotional ones for my JV partners, so I'm not cluttered up. But I always have everything right there at my fingertips, and it's all done on the calendar. What I found is this creates extreme clarity, and the discipline that I need, that I don't have to be in my head figuring it out, or wondering, or scratching my head, feeling lost, getting scattered. It's just like, oh, thank God I spent the time to lay all this out. Now I know, and I'll tweak it as I go. There still will be tweaking, obviously. But it's down now. And that heavy energy, or that confused energy, that's just not part of me, because I can just look and know, right? It's my calendar saying, we've got you, Eva. And that's how it feels. Like, thank you, my little calendar servant. And so that's what you want to be looking at. And of course, once you put it in the calendar, how you work that calendar is what's going to be the answer. You can't just put it in the calendar and then ignore the calendar, right? It's not important enough for you to commit a time to it and then not do it, right? Plan the work, work the plan. Plan the work, work the plan, right? Or you outsource. If there's something that you can outsource to someone, obviously you want to do that when you get to the point that you can. All right, you guys with me? All right. Awesome. And that's great. That's great. I believe the universe is confirming it's the right decision to go back to teaching your system. Oh my gosh. Yes, definitely. Definitely. All right. So I hope this is all landing for you guys. If it's landing, let me know. Give me some emojis. That would be fun. I see somebody just put some emojis in. That's awesome. I swear you're using my system. Oh, is that you, Ann? But yeah, put some emojis in there if you're with me on all this. Yes, no, maybe so. All right. Okay. I gotta get back over here. Where are my notes? All right. Where were we? All right. So, some of the things that I recommend that you have for yourself, it's important in that process, is just to remember it's got to be important to you. Okay. These things have got to be important to you. Just make sure that it's your downtime first, income activities next, and then whatever else falls in from that. All right. So, strategic priorities, see that the strategy, that stuff is always the annual thing. And I go back and review it quarterly. But that strategic priorities is laid out. All right. That doesn't change. That's like, this is what's happening. These are the strategic priorities for the year. This is the way it is. And that's what happens. Then each quarter, you can look about a month or a month and a half out where you have you see what else needs to be added, what needs to be taken away. So this is where you tweak it as you go, but it's already laid out. You're not having to start from scratch every day or every week wondering what you should be doing. So now I'm looking at the quarter, I'm looking out and saying, okay, is there any new stuff that needs to be added? Is there anything that needs to be taken away? Like there was a lot of travel that got taken away this year. We were not going to conferences this year. So all of that got taken out, right? But then we had online conferences. So they shifted a little bit. But that's when you start tinkering with the calendar. That's when you start tinkering with the additional appointments. That's when you start putting different things on the calendar as you need to. Like, do you need to be blocking out? Oh, by the way, I just want to say this about it. What is your natural, I'm going to call it, it's not really accurate, but your circadian rhythm. And what I mean by that, some of you are morning people. Some of you are night owls. Some of you are super creative in the afternoons. Some of you are super creative when you first get up in the mornings, okay? And so you got to look at that when you're planning out your calendar as well. So it needs to align with your time. So if you are blocking from, let's say, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock to do outbound messaging and connecting on social media, then, is that a time that you like to be socializing? Or if that's, for me, well, I'm up and about by 10 and 11, but somebody says, can we have a call at 8 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, you do not want to know me at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right. That is my sacred time. Nobody wants to know me at 8 o'clock in the morning. All right. So I'm doing my morning rituals and meditation and just kind of setting my tone for the day and all of that kind of stuff. My early calls are 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock. That's an early call for me. So you want to look at that for yourself. All right. Also, if you are getting, let's say you haven't halfway through the year, you decide you want to get a VA now. Well, then you haven't had any of the things that would be needed to interact with a VA and train them and delegate and all that. So that might, at the time you're getting them, that's the quarter where you say, okay, what do I need to add in the calendar now that I have this new additional activities, new team member? Some of you might be growing your team beyond that. Okay. Hope this is making sense. So you might have management blocks on the calendar once a week, once a month, whatever, that you didn't have before. So the bottom line of that is that's why you want to check quarterly and then look ahead to, are there any changes that are coming up that I need to tweak? So that you're doing that. And then what are any things that, were on the calendar that no longer need to be? All my travel time came off this year. That all came off. So I just tweak the calendar in that way. So every quarter you're looking with a really discerning eye and saying, does it make sense for me to continue in this way? Because you may find some things are working more than others. And so you're going to stop doing some things that weren't working and maybe double up on the things that were working, right? So things will still change constantly, right? This calendar, even though it's your blueprint, it's not in concrete, that's for sure. Think of it as a living organism. And then once a quarter, you break things down, you look at what needs to be taken away, what needs to be added on. And if there's something that you're adding on that now will be on a regular, consistent basis, book it out for the rest of the year. Okay. And then each quarter you come back and you review what's going on. But just pay attention to your natural rhythm. Are you better on the phone in the morning? Are you better on the phone in the afternoon? Is it better in the middle of the day? Are you creative in the morning? Do you have that lull like I do, like 3 o'clock in the afternoon? It's like I can do mindless work, but I'm not going to be doing creative work or anything like that, right? So just allow yourself to listen to the rhythm of your body, listen to your own rhythm, listen to yourself, see when you're most productive for which things. Does that make sense? You want to find what works for you and see what doesn't work for you. And then you make those changes accordingly so that you keep optimizing. You got to pay attention to watch your calendar, listen to yourself, take that time, evaluate each quarter and how your time is being spent. And if anything needs to be changed, you do. Okay. But the strategic overall strategy stays the same. So we got the big vision, the big goal, the big dreams, the plans for where you want to be in your business. And then these other things, some are going to always be there no matter what. And then some of those you're going to be tweaking. All right. The other thing you want to do is you want to set boundaries. Set yourself boundaries of when you're going to work and when you're not. It's very easy to find yourself working late into the night or still responding to folks who are reaching out to you. That's up to you. So I love, like, if I happen to be around and I'm seeing things and people, I'm going to reach out. I just am. And my colleagues kick my little butt all the time. Like, you need to set boundaries. Well, these are my boundaries, people, because I love interacting with people. This is what, lights up my soul. But if it's too much, then I'm just not going to be here and be responding. But some people need to set more aggressive boundaries. So pay attention if that's you. Here's some, my boundaries are, my work is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Boom. First 3 weeks of every month with very rare exceptions. Now, Mondays is my strategic day. I'm still doing a lot of great things, but no calls, no interruptions. That's my boundaries. All right. And so you get to find out what yours are. So you set those boundaries for your income generating. Make sure, and if they're in your calendar, make sure they're in with the rhythm of your bodies, that you're doing those things when it's easiest for you. And then you have boundaries around the busy work. Busy work, you got to be careful about that. Busy work can grow and grow and grow. Like it's almost like busy work would take all 8 hours of your work day every single day, and weekends too, if you let it. Okay. 365 days a year, it will, if you let it. Or busy work could take half an hour a day if you put it on your calendar and you know that that's the focus you're going to give it. Is this making sense? It's like, gosh, I've got a couple of the folks in my Enlightened Business Success Academy who've done an amazing job with their lead magnets, and they are so compelling and got them up and going. And now they're wanting to go back and tweak it and then tweak it a little bit more. And I'm saying, stop, go out there and bring people in to get on your lead magnet and into your list and stop tweaking, right? It's easy for us to do that. So set the boundaries around your busy work as well. And that's why I say you've got to direct your time. You have to direct your time. You have to claim it. You have to own it, and realize nothing is more important for you to direct in your business than your time, and directing it strategically so that you are growing. All right. So I hope this is making sense. I hope this is helpful for you guys. By the way, I just had a thought. If you would like me to create maybe a document that has kind of the notes and some examples of laying out some of this stuff, or what some of the activities would be that you would lay out on your calendar, because it'll be different for everybody's calendar, let me know if you're interested in that. And then I'll pull something together for you. I tell you what, if that's something you're interested in, you'd like me to do maybe a PDF document, and that kind of locks in what we were talking about here today, let me know with hashtag yes. How's that? That's super simple. Hashtag yes. If I see that, if there's enough of you that's interested in this, then I will pull a document together that kind of will help you when you're laying out your own calendar. And then look for a direct message in your direct messages. That's how I'll reach out to you to point you to that document. So let me know that, Kokomo's. Anything else? I think that's it. Yeah, that was it. Any questions, by the way? Any questions you have, put them in the comments. Even though this will be closing, the replay will go on, and I always come back and I look at the comments and answer questions and things like that, because I know more people probably will see the replay than are ever on the live calls anyway. So I see a yes. Okay, awesome. PDF would be great. Again, I'm looking over here because I can see Danielle. I can see Diane. That's good to see your names over there. So, okay, great. I will do that for you. We will be back on. Now, let me just see, because I know we got the holidays up. So let me see what I locked in on my calendar. See, this is a good thing. Calendar. We will be on, again, next Facebook Live. Actually, I will be in here on the same time next week. It'll be Christmas Eve. I know we're not going anywhere, so I'm going to be right here. So I'll post an event up here in the group, so you'll know about that. This would be an awesome time for you guys to get into that poll and tell me some of the trainings you want. It may not be the one you get next week, but I really do listen to you guys and what you're asking for. So that just helps me help you. All right. All right. I think that's it. I guess it is. All right. Big, big heart hugs. Lots of love. Mwah. Bye for now.